Okay, guys, thanks for coming out. Certainly a tough pill to swallow, tough game. Great Big Ten football game out in Nebraska. But didn't go our way, so we got back late, or really early Saturday morning. Came in yesterday and worked through it with the players, and now have moved on and getting ready for Wisconsin. So anything I can answer, I'll try to help you.
I guess just defensively, what was the key kind of to that second half improvement and what they were able to do? You said after the game it was stifling, and what do you feel like that can carry now into the Wisconsin game?
Well, we made a couple mistakes in the first half. We misfit a run. We actually had a guy covered. Guy made a nice catch. Al-Shadi was right in his face, and the guy made the catch. So, but I just think in the second half, one thing we did remarkably better from Washington to Nebraska is our tackling. That was a point of emphasis, and I think the guys really did a great job of improving that. Now we have to continue to do that, and Wisconsin's got some backs that they're strong. They make people miss tackles. Why? Because they're very tough and they run through tackles. So we're going to have to really bring it. But that's something we got to do. That's something that we're known for, and it was disappointing in the Washington game. But we got back to, it was really almost a model for how you should tackle. I think we missed 2 or 3 tackles as the entire defense. And generally, as a defensive coach, you look at it and say, you'd like to be 0 missed tackles, but each level of the defense you usually allow for 2. So D-line, linebackers, and secondary. If you come out of a game with 6 missed tackles against a Big Ten football team, that's pretty good. And we had 2. So big improvement. We just got to keep getting better. The thing that I did like is we played a lot of people on defense. We're rotating 5 guys in the interior. We're rotating 4 guys or actually 5 guys on the edge, so we're playing 10 guys. We're rotating 3 through the linebacker core, and then Timmy Hines got some play. And then in the back end, we're rolling 3 corners and we're rolling 3 safeties. And when you do that with guys, like Kosh Sanders got in there and played well again. He's a really good young football player. So, again, to have Bo rolling now in the corner mix, and then Al-Shadi because of Robert being down, we played that game only very little with Robert, very little with Ian, and obviously without Felt. So I thought guys stepped up and did a really good job. And that's what you have to do. You have to build depth, and you do it through development, but until they go do it in a game, it's just a hope that there's depth there, but there was. So, yeah, a lot to be encouraged by, and we'll learn things from that game, and then, we'll try to get those fixed like we did from the Washington game. It's always nicer to win from the W column, but it didn't happen this week.
Just generally your thoughts on Wisconsin, its strengths, and what you see from their offense and defense.
Yeah, they're a good football team. Coach Fickle does a very good job. Has a real strong philosophy on how they want to play the game. Up front, their offensive line, I think, is big. They're strong. You just watch them play against good competition. They're good up front. They lost their starting quarterback, and then the second team comes in Saturday and really lit it up against Purdue. So, you don't know what that is. There's not a lot of film to go off of, a few games and then a little bit last year. So, we'll create a plan on what they like to do offensively, but we're going to have to, stop the run and the pass. And when you flip them over on defense, they're really well coached, very sound, big up front. They can run at linebacker and really experienced in the secondary. We know the corner very well, obviously, who picked 6th us last year, but and the safety, I forget his 24, really good player. He seems like he's been playing forever, but playmakers. So they have some guys that can run. They're a run and hit group, and they're big up front. So very, very sound at what they do. They know what they want to do. And I think they know how to fix things. When they have a breakdown, they quickly fix it within the game. So, yeah, definitely a great challenge. But every week in the Big Ten is. What week isn't, right? And the margin of error is very slim, as we saw Saturday. And when you come out on the right end of it, then you're really happy and excited. And when you come out on the wrong end of it, like Saturday, it hurts, But we got to move forward now, and that's what we're doing. We're moving forward to Wisconsin, and they're really good. So, big challenge.
Can you just share details on Felter's injury, just when it happened, and when you guys found out, and obviously what impact does that have on the offensive line and the offense in general?
Yeah, well, you lose a quality starter who has a lot of cumulative reps, right, and is a tough guy. He kind of brings that element to the O-line, or brought that element to the O-line. It was all kind of unfolded as the week went on. He returned to play the whole second half, which shows what an incredibly tough guy he is. But as things went on, there was decisions that had to be made, and it was a drawn-out process. But without getting into his personal business, we knew as we got toward the end of the week that was going to be the way it was going to be. So, and now he'll get he'll be out this year, but we're, if you look at the flip side of it, he's back next year. So we have Brian Felter and Mo coming back. Those are two really good players. It'll be back in 25. That's the way I look at it. And now we got a chance for young guys to step up. And that's already happened with DJ playing a lot at linebacker for Mo, and Taj White. He's a lot of things he's got to get fixed, but he went in there and he battled for 70 plays. And that's a positive, So we'll just keep moving it forward. And Dante Chin's going to have to help us there as well. Who, young guys are getting their shot now. You got to step up.
Ben Black, he obviously had that one moment and then was able to bounce back with the touchdown play. What did you just see from him, that ability as a young player in a moment like that to be able to bounce back?
Well, it wasn't just in Saturday's game. I've been very impressed with Ben since he got here. He came in January, went through the spring. You could see he's a really good player. Excuse me. And then he's done it in games, in spurts. But the thing that I was most impressed with, he made a great play. It was an awesome throw by Ethan out of the end zone. Great play to midfield. Later, hits him and he drops it. And as a young receiver to come back and then make a second great play and score on the touchdown. It shows a lot about his competitive spirit. He's strong. He's a physically gifted freshman that has some toughness about him. So we'll keep developing him. He'll keep playing, and I think he'll just get better and better. I think he's got some special traits.
One thing you've talked a lot about this season, all season long, has been the pass rush. On Saturday, 4 sacks by 4 different players. What did you see from week to week as the season's gone on, and how do you think this pass rush can perform against a Wisconsin team that hasn't had its starting quarterback the last few weeks?
Great question, and I probably should have talked about the 4 sacks, right? Because as much of a concern as the tackling was against Washington, lack of pressure on the quarterback was a concern. We won the Washington game, and Washington left here sick to their stomach. Well, just like we left sick to our stomach leaving Nebraska. Welcome to the Big Ten. That's part of the landscape. But we didn't get off to the quarterback very well 2 weeks ago. This week, I thought it was a different story. I thought that our guys applied pressure, and even when we weren't sacking them, we were disrupting the quarterback's rhythm. And that's very, very important. Everybody wants to talk about the sacks, but when you disrupt the rhythm, things happen on the other end. The balls are errantly thrown, interceptions occur, all because of the pressure. And like you said, it was different people from different levels of our defense getting the sacks. So I was really excited about that, and something to build on again. I think it gives these guys a little bit of juice now. Let's go. It was a time around here when we really were getting after the quarterback, and then it kind of waned a little bit. But that's a big part of what you have to do without giving up your run defense, right? You can't just say, be damned and go after the quarterback all the time. So it's a delicate balance, but you have to be able to do it. Otherwise, in this league, there's a lot of good quarterbacks that if they throw in rhythm and timing, they're going to make you pay.
Going back to the young players, the fact that you have multiple true freshmen who have been stepping up to contribute, and you can even include Bo in that group because he was unavailable so much last year. I mean, I guess what does that say about the quality of recruit that you're now able to bring in and kind of the evolution in that process over these last few years?
Yeah, I think it says two things. Number one, as you said, the quality of prospect that we're able to attract to Rutgers. And then I think it says a lot about our coaching staff, the amount of time they spend with these young guys. We're a developmental program. What does that mean? Well, you spend a lot of time developing your younger players. As a coach, there's always you got this to do. That's not going away. So when practice is over, you still got to do this. You got to watch the tape. You got to make recruiting calls. You got to take care of your players' academics. You got to chart everything. So you spend a half hour after practice developing young guys. That's a half hour later you're getting to bed. But we have guys around here that understand the significance of development, coaches on our staff, and I'm grateful for it because I know what it means as they're staying out there and doing some extra. And it's not always live, and it's not always – sometimes it's just walking and talking and explaining to them the why. You know, when as young players start to understand the why, it really opens things up for them. And that's what I see our staff doing. And I just think we got to just keep doing it, keep developing these players because we have some more young guys that we're going to see play before this season's out. You know, these aren't the only ones. There's just everybody kind of gets seasoned at a different time and then they're ready to get plugged in. Sometimes injuries, you know, are the cause, but we really want to get when we feel guys are able to go in and help us win, we want to get them in the game.
Wisconsin historically has been a smash mouth, line it up, kind of run it down your throat, but Coach Fickle's kind of changed that approach a little bit and runs from the shotgun. I know you guys have, you know, switched up a little bit more shotgun based with Kirk's play calling. Do you ever see a scenario in short yardage or anything like that where you'd see eighth and under center moving forward more often?
Well, there's some run plays. I think college football as a whole has gone to shotgun. There's very little under center. You know, when we played Washington did some under center things. More than anything for the timing and rhythm of the play action pass game that they wanted to run. You know, that's what we were solely. You know, back in the day, we only went to shotgun on third down if we did it on third down. By the changes in offenses and the things that have occurred over the years, I think when you do that as your base and you do, 80-90% of your repetitions, to really get comfortable. It looks simple to catch the snap, do the ball handling, read the defensive end, read the linebacker, read the three technique. That takes so many cumulative repetitions. You can't be, you don't want to be the jack of all trades and masters of none. And that's what we have to guard against. Now, we do get under center sometimes and have some sneak game and some things like that. And we have some passes under center that, just for the rhythm and timing. But to say that we'll ever go back, not with this current system, no, we're going to be where we are. And I get it. You sit there and say, well, if you're in the shotgun, but if you think about even when you're under center, where do you hand the ball off? Did you ever watch? It's about the same spot. You take the snap, you come back, you hand it off to about the same spot. So unless you're going to run a quarterback sneak or you're going to run a fullback, which we don't have, you saw a couple fullback runs the last couple weeks, right, where they hand it to the fullback, maybe one or two in a game. Well, that's a quick hitter to a fullback. Again, if you don't do that, that's a huge, what we say in coaching is how expensive is it? Now, obviously, you're not paying money. What are you paying? You're paying time. And if it's too expensive, it takes away from what you are. And that's the age-old battle in coaching is if you spend time doing this, you're not doing what you're going to count on to win the game. So, a lot of thought goes into that. And, look, I understand the question. I get it. We were down there and we didn't score. I mean, Coach Shiraka, myself, we sit there and go over it over and over on Sunday and say, okay, what could we have done? What should we have done? Right? Those are the questions you ask. But then you have to make, okay, this is what we do. This is why we do it. Got to do it better. Right? Is there any tweaks we want to make? But then you got to move on. Otherwise, you catch yourself. You got to always be careful when you lose a tough game like that. You can't let that same team beat you twice. And I've had that happen to me over the years where that ain't going to happen. If we're going to put everything we got into this Wisconsin season like we do every season. And I guarantee you, if it doesn't work out for us, it won't be because the last game got us. It'll be because Wisconsin was better than we were. All right, so let's line it up and let's find out.
A couple quick ones. Taj White, you played every snap at left guard. You mentioned Dante Chin. Do you anticipate a competition between those two for playing time, or is Taj White the left guard at this point?
Well, it's too early to say. You know, I think Taj did a good job. He'll be the guy that's starting as long as he's healthy. But you know, Chin is a guy that we've seen coming on, and if we have an opportunity to play two guys, certainly we'll do it. We just got to make sure that we feel that that's the best, what gives us the best chance to win.
Big picture college football, a lot of teams are seeing guys redshirt and enter the transfer portal after 4 or 5 games. Have you had any conversations have any players approached you with that, and are you concerned at all, you know, given that it's happening across the sport?
Well, it is happening across America, you're right, and it's not 4 or 5, it's when you've played in 4, because if you play in 5, you're done. So the games themselves don't matter. What matters is how many games have you personally played in, right? Do I anticipate it? No, you never know, though. How do you know? You know, I'm sure some of those coaches didn't anticipate it either. It's a different age of college football, a lot of stuff going on, right? And you just have to make sure that you're doing everything you can to make sure your program is in good order. Individuals have choices to make, you know, and that's been happening all over the country. And we'll see, you know, this will be historic, I think, what happens at the end of the season with the transfer portal. And, you know, all the things, this whole thing is such a transformational time with revenue sharing on the docket. And, you know, who knows what it'll look like in 12 months. Just hold on to your seat, you know.
Final question. You talked about going over the film with the guys yesterday. What was Ethan's response in terms of what he was seeing? Ethan's response in terms of what he was seeing, but also just mentally, emotionally, his ability to bounce back. What are you seeing?
Well, Ethan's an incredible competitor, as our whole team, I feel, is. You know, we've grown up, and I think the young guys are following the lead of the older guys. That's as tough an environment as you can play in. Right? Forget the 85,000 people that are very, very passionate about their corn hustlers. I mean, it was 95 degrees on your gauge, right? The temperature on the field, when they came to me, they said it was 121 with the field turf and the pellets. So my guy said it's 121 out there in pregame. Now, I'm sure it came down as the game went on. But, you know, you go on a road game, you're playing in someone else's hostile stadium, and it's hot and it's tough and they're good. I was really proud of the way our team just fought, right down to the very last snap, and I mean the very last snap. And that's what we'll always do. And I'm convinced, and I believe in our team, and I believe that, you know what, they're going to come out this week and they're going to play as well as they've played all year, and then we got to see where that stacks up. That's life in the Big Ten. That's why I love coaching in the Big Ten. That's why you should love covering the Big Ten, because those are the kind of games that you get to witness. 2 weeks ago, we came out on the right end of it. Last week, we didn't. You know, you gotta fight in this league, and you got to figure out how to come out on top. And that's what that's our goal. That's what we're trying to do. Appreciate it, guys.